Jerome Span. Of course, I'm here to tell you about our sponsor today. And our sponsor is, of course, and will forever be longstanding. Hey, mind you, he don't give me no money, but this is my man's. I got to hold him down. It is Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen, Swopes is out here trying to change lives. He's trying to help get these young athletes into college each and every week. Every day he dedicates a lot of time to this. This man has a serious passion for helping others further their education and further their lives in with a lot of great ways. They are on Facebook. Make sure you look up Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. Swopes is spelled Swopes. It is ran by Mr. Nathaniel Swopes Jr. He is the man in Houston, if y'all don't know. But yes, make sure you go check him out if you're trying to get your kid into school, or hell, if you're even a kid here that's thinking about going into school and you want to try and keep playing, keep your athletic career going, make sure you go check out Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. He is the man that is going to help you keep that dream going. So make sure you follow them on Facebook, and you can get right a hold of Mr. Swopes there. He will help you get into college and keep your dream going for continuing to play your sports. So again, people, Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. Check it out now. Help change some kid around you that you know's future, or hell, even your future.
Yeah, Enigma in the house. My man Jay Span, Titan Studios. It's called From the Heart. Keeping it real is what all the song's about. Never selling your soul. Always staying true to yourself. Alright, yeah. Check it out. Money, cars. But we'll never get you far unless you're gonna spit it from the heart. Yeah, money, cars. But we'll never get you far unless you're gonna spit it from the start. Man, money, cars. But we'll never get you far unless you're gonna spit it from the heart. Yeah, money.
And welcome back to your favorite sports show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is ITC Sportsball. I am your man, Jerome Span. Of course, pretty face on ITC. Don't you forget it, baby. And me and Mase are here today to start our NFL preview for the year. Today, we will be covering the NFC. So, of course, we got to get the intro going right. We have got ITC's resident hot take spitter, the man who rips like Dylon spits. Here's the modern-day Ali on the microphone. When he steps into your home, all your ladies is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, here's that man.
Listen, bro, I decided to let them know that I am the youngest face in the sports ball crew. Just had to remind them that I am, in fact, a YN today. So
yeah, that's what you think. Yeah, that's not going to last long because you know what? That baby going to keep stealing your youth, and then you're going to feel just
Nah. She's going to keep me young.
If that's what you think. That's not what happens. But that being said, of course, we've got a whole lot of teams to get into here, so we might as well get the show rolling. And we today are starting with the NFC South. Now, this year, the NFC South, to me, it looks kind of like a wide open division here. So I want to start with you here, Mase. Who do you got as your worst team in the NFC South in this upcoming year?
Probably the Saints.
Why do you feel that way?
Who's going to play quarterback for him? And who's catching a pass besides Olave? Who's on their defense? I'm pretty sure them boys. I got questions.
I don't know. Maybe this is finally Taysom Hill's moment, Mase. Maybe this is finally the time where he gets to
play
quarterback. Yes, he's still on the team. Yes.
Somebody still trying to let him play quarterback? I thought that ship had sailed.
I mean, they list him as a tight end, but you never know. They might get crazy down there.
He's the gadget guy, bro.
Yes, exactly.
But in seriousness, though, man. Excuse me. In all seriousness, though, yeah, man, there's just so many questions revolving around that team. As far as I know, Tyler Shaw, is that how you say it? Shaw? How do you say it?
I believe so. I believe it's Shaw.
He hasn't signed. He hasn't signed yet. So Spencer Rattler's kind of their projected starter.
Devo's man, Spencer Rattler.
The guy that looks like he bites people, bro. He's got baby teeth, dog. Have you seen him? Like, he's got baby teeth, bro. He bites people. I know he does.
I ain't saying
and it's not like one of those playful bites with your woman, when you're wrestling, give her that little bite, let her know I'm not playing no more. This is like he just comes up to random people and bites them on the arm and stuff. Like I really feel like he just bites people, bro. That's not the type of guy you want representing your organization. Sorry.
I mean, look, you have some great points here, and to say right off top, I do agree with you wholeheartedly here. When we look at the Saints roster right now, like you said, outside of Olave, I don't know who makes any plays for them on offense or on defense, right? I know some people might try and argue Alvin Kamara, but I mean, he's on the decline at this point. When you look at their defense, they've got a lot. I mean, look, we know what Cam Jordan is at this point, right? He's older. He's only going to give you so much, but they're depending on essentially a combination of somewhat Chase Young, Carl Grandison, Kayleen Saunders, and Davon Gaucha to create their pass rush and to be the ones that can do a little stopping in the run. And I do not see that out of any of those guys. The only true defenders that they have that are worth a damn, they've got Honey Badger, right? They got Justin Reed, who are both older at this point, and Cam Jordan, who is old at this point too. So I think I got to wholeheartedly 100% agree with you here, Mase. I do not see how the Saints can be. Honestly, Mase, I don't see them winning more than 5-6 games this year, to be honest.
If there's any team in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, it's the Saints, bro. Like, Louisiana kid going to the Saints.
Going where his grandpa played at?
You can't write a better story than that, but listen, bro, max 3 games.
Wow, you're going even lower than me. You're saying 3?
Max 3.
Woo! Woo! Yeah, see, I'm gonna say 5, 6 at max, right? Like, I just think that they'll luck into some stuff, right? I feel like the Panthers are going to give away one of those games to them.
Oh,
right?
Of course. Yeah,
I feel like the Falcons have this propensity to give away one game to them too. So that's like 2 wins that they'll get on the season that'll probably push their total a little bit higher than it should be. Because, man, outside of the guys that we named, Mase, I mean, let's look at their projected starters here. We've got Shaw at quarterback, right? Kamara, Olave. Then you're going Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, Jawan Johnson. You got the rookie Kelvin Banks Jr., who we both think he's going to be good. I don't know how good he's going to be as a tackle, but I still think overall he'll have a good career as a lineman in the league. Trevor Penning, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Talis Fuaga. Brother, there's nobody out there that stands out. I mean, even Olave, at this point, Mase, I question whether he's going to be a number 1 based strictly off of the fact that I don't know if he stays healthy. And if he goes out, what do they do then?
Just looking at their offensive projected started, I would probably say that the most upside is in that offensive line, right? Because they have a lot of high draft picks on that offensive line. You got a veteran in McCoy. That will be their saving grace as a team if their offensive line can gel and play well. If that happens, they might reach that 5 or 6. Like I'm still not going to sit here and say they're got a challenge for that division or win some games, but on the higher end of being optimistic for that team, I would definitely say if their offensive line plays well, they can probably squeak out 5 to 6 wins.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that I'm counting on in that team, Mase, is I think their offensive line will be pretty good this year because they weren't completely terrible last year. It's just they had injuries. They were moving pieces around and stuff. So I think that offensive line will gel a little bit more. And I think getting Banks Jr. in there right away is going to help with his development because he'll be able to figure out what are the things he needs to work on right away, right? One of my concerns with him is hey, man, I saw some guys beating him in the playoffs and stuff that shouldn't have been beating him. Now, I do wonder if that was a part for his health at the time, because it was reported that he was playing through some injuries.
Yeah. So when the SEC championship game all throughout the playoffs, because he didn't play in the SEC championship game because of an injury. And then throughout the playoffs, he was coming back from the injury. I think I'm pretty sure that had a little bit to do with it. He wasn't 100%. You could definitely tell out there, but he was better than the option of starting a sophomore in his spot.
Oh, for sure. So I do think that it had something to do with that for sure. So I think the offensive line play will be good, because I still think Calvin Bay, I think he's going to be good. I think Penning he's not a top end guard, but he's good enough for you, right? I think Eric McCoy is one of the best centers in the league. Cesar Ruiz, kind of got to wait and see. And Fuaga, I think he is somebody that he's shown upside, right? Like last year, he didn't look completely lost. And that's the biggest thing. So I think they have something there, and it should grow as the season is going, right? So I think that's where I get them to the 5 or 6. But if they start getting injuries, Mase, I'm telling you right now, my prediction goes right along with you. 3 wins at max.
So the last thing on the Saints here is, if I'm not mistaken, Tyler Shaw still hasn't signed his contract. And I know some second round picks are starting to trickle in and getting their contract signed. I know a couple guys have gotten fully guaranteed deals.
Let's see here.
But
as of 4 minutes ago, Mase, literally 4 minutes ago, via Sports Illustrated, he has signed his deal. It is a fully guaranteed contract worth $10.795.
Okay. So yeah, man. You love to see it. First off, you love to see it, man. These kids in the second round, they're like, nah, bro. We're not getting as much money as those first round picks, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. But we want all our dollars. You love to see it.
And if you guys want to hear more on that, go back and watch the Sports Ball episode that was from Sunday, because that will be one of the things that we talk about, is the dynamic change that is happening in the rookie contracts right now. But that being said, we do got to continue on here. So, Mase, who do you got as being your number 3 team in the NFC South?
You know what? I got the Falcons. Something I want to believe in them, right? Like I really do. But something tells me that it's just going to go wrong, man, or they're not going to play up to their potential. I'll say they're not going to play up to their potential, right? Because we know Bijan is a top 5 running back in this league, right? Penix, we don't know what we're going to get. We know his arm is stronger than Kirk Cousins. So you would think that him and Drake London and goodness, man, are they ever going to get an OC that can take advantage of what Kyle Pitts can bring to the team? Like, are they ever going to get a play caller that's going to be like, you know what, bro? We have a 6'5", 230, 240-pound tight end and a 6'5" receiver, 220, 230, whatever he is. We've got to find a way to get these dudes in one-on-one situations and get them the ball.
If I'm being honest, Mase, if they don't get it happening this year, I don't know when. I don't think it ever clicks for Pitts. If it doesn't happen this year, dog, it's just never going to happen. It's no longer a me questioning the scheme thing. It's a him thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we saw Mooney balled out last year for them, right? Drake London balled out for them last year. Bijan balled out for them last year. Where you at, Kyle Pitts? You're not the one that the defense is pulling coverage to. That's London or Mooney at this point, right? Where are you at, Kyle Pitts? So if he doesn't get it done this year, Mase, I think we're looking at him most definitely as another super high-end athlete, but not a good football player.
Yeah. But like I said,
I don't disagree with you on that, though. I think this year, with Penix being there, the offense should have more explosive plays to it. And that's where I'm so hard on this Kyle Pitts thing, which is, brother, you either show up this year or, to me, you just trash.
Listen, bro, the middle of the field between 10 and 25 yards, Kyle Pitts should be eating good.
What was the what was the boy that Denver drafted that was a super athlete for forever, but couldn't be but wasn't a good football player at tight end? What was his name?
Oh man.
Oh Lord. Let me see here.
I don't know, bro. I can't think of his name.
You know who I'm talking about too. That's the worst part about it. Hold on.
But yeah, like that.
As soon as I say the name, it's gonna be like, yeah, that's who it is. Okay, hold on. I'm scrolling back here. I'm scrolling back. Noah Fant. There we go. Yeah. Noah Fant. Another Noah Fant. That's what Kyle Pitts. Look, when you came into the league, we was thinking you could be Gronkowski level, right? Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce's, Antonio Gates. Right now, you looking a lot like Noah Fant. So he got to show up. Now, I will disagree with you on the Falcons being third. I personally believe they're going to be second here in the division. Kirk Cousins held them back a lot last year. They were in a good spot to win that division, but Raheem did not pull the trigger quick enough on moving on from Kirk Cousins. Even after they were seeing that he clearly wasn't, where they needed him to be athletically, right? You could see that he wasn't as accurate as he normally is because he was still trying to figure out how to compensate from the injury. If Kirk Cousins isn't accurate, he is not valuable to you as a team because his accuracy and his decision-making is typically something that he leans on heavy, right? So Raheem let that team down last year. He should have pulled the trigger sooner, and because of that, they ended up not making the playoffs when they should have. I think this year, they don't allow that to happen. I think that offense really gets rolling. Does Kyle Pitts show up? I think he does because I don't want to call him Noah Fant yet, Mason.
Right? Like I'm pulling for him, bro.
Like because I was really excited. I've been excited for him as a potential boom player for so long, and he just hasn't boomed yet. So we will see. But I think for me, this team, their defense is going to be better than I think some people expect because Raheem knows how to scheme up a defense. And because of that fact, I think they end up being the number 2 team in their conference here. Now, Mase, who do you got as number 2 then? Since you said the Falcons are you number 3? Are you number 3?
Who's number 2? Panthers are going to surprise people. Mostly because Bryce Young showed you that he can play quarterback. And for all the we're getting rid of our defensive players and all this and that, they have pretty much hit with their draft picks for what they've given up. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel like the Panthers are going to be surprisingly good. And I think that they can squeak out a win or two on the road in their division that gets them up to that number 2 spot. Mm-hmm. I definitely only expect one playoff team from this division in the NFC. But, I feel like the Panthers are going to be deceptively good because regardless of who's at running back, they've kind of – their scheme allows – like I said, their scheme allowed Chuba Hubbard to play well. You know what I'm saying?
Which I don't think either of us – after seeing that first year or two in Carolina, thought that Chuba was going to be that.
Yeah, bro. So they can scheme up a run game, and they're continuously putting weapons out wide for Bryce Young. I think the defense will play better than we expect them to, especially losing to Brian Burns and losing a couple other pieces. People probably expect them to just be Swiss cheese on defense, but I expect them to be tougher on defense, if that makes sense. So, yeah, man, I think they're going to surprise some people. If there was any team that I would say surprise the NFL this year, it would be the Panthers.
So for me, I'm going to actually pick the Panthers to have a top 15 offense. I think that is what's going to win them some games. But that defense, Mase, look, man. They were thin last year when they had Brian Burns, right? Now they didn't traded him away. I mean, Mase, we know they got Derek Brown, right? Mm-hmm. But let me run down the rest of the projected starters right now. Bobby Brown III, Tershawn Wharton, DJ Wonnum, Christian Roseboom, Josie Jewell, Nick Scorton, Michael Jackson, Trevor Morig, Nick Scott, J.C. Horn, and Charles Smith Wade. Brother.
They got the king of pop back there. They good, bro. What you mean? What you mean, bro? That's all you need.
Look, Derek Brown about to get more double teams than he's ever gotten in his life, and nobody else is going to do a damn thing with that opportunity. So I think that defense is going to cost them quite a few games this year, and that's for me why I switched them and the Falcons, is because that I look at their defense and I'm like, oh my God, y'all niggas look suspect. Like who on there? Let Derek Brown go out the game. Who is going to make a play on that defense, Mase?
I definitely think that they're going to have to be very eccentric on defense. The pressure is going to have to come from scheme more so than one-on-ones, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Derek Brown is obviously the focal point, and he can be a game wrecker for you. If the other 3, maybe 4, depending on your blitzes, 5 guys that are coming are competent. So I definitely feel like it's going to be, like I said, that defense is going to be boom or bust. I don't think they'll be tough, because I'm hoping that they simply just send pressure so much that you force teams to play differently than how they want to when they play Carolina. Because obviously teams are going to want to control the ball and keep Carolina's offense off the field. But if you are consistent with your pressure, either you're going to get beat deep or you're going to get the ball back really quick. Mm-hmm. No in between.
Yeah, for sure. I think their defense is 100% boom or bust this year. That is 100% astute on you there. But moving on, we have got the team that we both have as the number 1 team here, and it's a team that would be what if they won it this year? 3 years in a row now they've won it, or 4?
I believe 3.
It'd be 4. It'd be 4, wouldn't it? I think it'd be 4. I think so, because they won it. Because after they won it Tom's last year, and then they won it that first year with Baker, and then they won it last year. So yeah, that'd be 4. It'd be 4 in a row for them, which is unusual for anybody that knows anything about the NFC South. Usually, this is a division that you go worst to first damn near every year. But Tampa Bay Bucks here, Mase. We know what they've got. They've got a very veteran team at this point. There's not a lot of really young players for us to talk about. My question for you on them is, do you think that they end up being more healthy than they were last season? Because at the end of the day, the health, I think, is what did them in towards the end of the year. They did not have the health that was needed to put on a sustained run into the playoffs.
I definitely think you have to expect them to be healthier. Obviously, we can go ahead and chalk Mike Evans up for like 1,050 yards. Just go ahead and give him his 1K. Bam. I like their skill position players. Like I said, you get Ibuka. You've got some other players at the receiver position for them with some juice in the legs. Because Mike Evans, he's your old reliable. If you leave Mike Evans 1-on-1, more than likely good things are going to happen. So he still gets that attention. But you got some juice with Ibuka. You got some juice with Bucky Irvin in the backfield. Who's the other guy they drafted last? Last year. Can't think of the receiver's name.
You talking about Jalen McMillan?
Yeah. So I think it's really dependent on how. I'm not sold on Chris Godwin coming back. He like when we're talking about injury history, I think kids are starting to pile up on him, and that's obviously why they went out and got Ibuka, because if first off they can play the same position, him and Ibuka can essentially run the same route tree for them in that offense. I think Ibuka can step out and be a X or Z or the Z receiver for them, not necessarily the X. Mike Evans got that set up, so he can step out and be the outside receiver if needed when Godwin's healthy. But I think this is going to be the beginning of the phasing out of Godwin in that offense. I know they just re-signed him and all that stuff, but at the same time, you don't expect him to be healthy. If you're going out and drafting a player in the first round at his position, you don't expect him to be healthy.
I mean, you would love to be like, yeah, Chris Godwin's going to come back and have a great year and da-da-da. Because, I mean, every year that he's actually been out on the field, right, he's been an excellent player for them. I mean, this is a guy that was highly valued by a lot of teams, but he chose to continue to stay in Tampa Bay. Now, the one good thing for him on this injury, on this last one, right, it was a dislocated ankle. It wasn't him tearing a tendon. It wasn't, tearing an Achilles, tearing an ACL, tearing a patella. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't a tear or something like that. So he is fortunate in that way. But to the point that you made, when do those injuries start usually catching up with guys? It's usually when they get around 30, and he's 29 this year. So I think you are very right on the nose there with saying, hey, I think Ibuka starts the slow phase out of Godwin. I think within the next 2 years, we see him phased out of that offense to where eventually they end up moving on for him probably before that third year of the contract comes up. So, definitely. I think that's one thing that they have. Their defense, again, very veteran-laden unit there. I am curious to see how Reddick is going to come back after having that 1 year off of football. I mean, for all intents and purposes, right, that guy didn't do anything football-related last year. He may have kept himself in shape, but he didn't play football.
I'm almost willing to side with the fact that, like, not saying this is for every NFL player, bro, but I think taking a year off would do a lot of guys some good in the NFL, especially those guys that come in that are fortunate enough to come in at 20, like right at 21, fresh out, and they're contributors in the offense or defense for those first 6-7 years of their career. They hit 28, 29. They're trying to get one more big contract. I would really feel like that would definitely be beneficial to some of those guys to take a year off. Because, I mean, at almost every position now, the age in which guys are starting to fall off is starting to get a little bit higher. Outside of running back, which is probably the one position that really needs to start taking seasons off. Think about it. Maybe let's just say you're a 27, 28-year-old running back. You know you're not getting big contracts anymore unless you're one of like 4 guys in the league, which you're probably not. Take a year off, get you a 1-year prove-it deal, and then find you in the last little like 3-year deal. It's decent amount of money and cruise out the rest of your career, bro.
You right. But I don't know if mentally they're in the right place that they need to be if they take a year off, because that's a year off from car crashes every day. And that give you time to start thinking about the crazy nature of what you are actually doing. Okay. That give you a whole lot of time to be like, damn, nigga, I was really out there doing that. But
to slide back to the Bucks, though, I think so. From the things that I've read about the OTAs and mini camps and rookie mini camps and all that stuff, the veterans on that defense have been pretty positive about Shiloh Sanders' play as a safety. Obviously, it's still a long shot for him to not only make the team or even become a contributor for that defense, but when the guys on the team see something out of somebody, it's kind of a good tell that guy's going to make the team, right? So I'm pulling for him, bro. He went undrafted, which is unfortunate, but I think he would be a nice little addition to what Winfield Jr. can do for that defense. So
yeah, I'm curious to see how that ends up going. So that is the NFC South. Now we are moving on to the NFC West, Mason. Last year, this was a division that was very strange in a lot of ways. We've also seen that this is a division that over the course of this offseason is some teams have had some major changes, right? So starting to ask you right away, Mace, who's going to be number 4 team in the division?
I think it'll this is tough. This is a tough call, man. I'm gonna have to say the Seahawks, just because I really the transition on offense that they're trying to make in one offseason just seems to be a little too drastic, in my opinion. I'm not saying Geno was top tier, but like losing a starting quarterback caliber guy, losing your top receiver. The offense was already going through a transition anyways. They were trying to rebuild that offensive line. And now you have to put faith in a less experienced quarterback. I mean, cool. Nobody expects Milroe to start at any time soon this season.
If he starts, it's bad signs for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Milroe is out there as the starter, like this isn't going to be some Russell Wilson type deal where it's like, oh my God, I don't know how everybody passed up on him. He's really that good. He's going to be the starter. This isn't that. So yeah, man,
Milroe got some work he need to do. Okay.
That
defense, be out there.
The defense
they put him out there. They running the Tim Tebow offense with his ass. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, that obviously we know the strength of that defense is the secondary, right? They've been building up that front seven mostly through trade. They're trying to do that through the draft a little bit, but my issue with that team is wholeheartedly on offense. Like I don't. You've got a good run game with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I'm gonna say Charbonnet. That sounds right.
Is it Charbonnet? I thought it was Chardonnay. Like the drink.
Listen, bro. I'm not the name guy.
Yeah,
Jerome. Hey, Dro definitely not the name guy.
Oh yeah. No.
But they've got a run
Charbonnet.
game.
Charbonnet. So you were right. Yeah, you were right.
So yeah, they have to lean on that run game. Like they have to.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where the explosive plays are going to come from. And to win games in the NFL, you have to have explosive plays. Like being able to grind it out on
from. MVS, baby.
Hey, my man has been stealing money for the longest.
What it is to be 6 foot something fast.
6'4" and fast, bro. He's stealing money because he's 6'4" and fast, bro.
What it is.
You love to see
it. But you know what?
We forgot to mention that Cooper Kupp is up there now. But like I said, bro, I don't know if Cooper Kupp is. I don't know what we get out of Cooper Kupp in a team without a quarterback or a scheme.
So I don't want to stay on the Seahawks too long because I am in 100% agreement with you. Geno was doing a lot for them, and a lot of people who haven't actually taken a minute to watch any of the film do not understand. Geno was doing a lot for them on that offense, dog. A lot. Them losing him for Sam Darnold, who for last year was throwing to Jefferson and Atkinson, right? And I'm supposed to be convinced that he's good now? No, that's why he turned back into a pumpkin in the playoffs, because we all knew what time it was. Okay? You can hide a lot of that stuff in the regular season. You can't hide it in the playoffs. Okay? Everybody got 18 games worth of film on you now. So I think we watched, and I hate to say this about the man because I don't be rooting against people unless they're Green Bay Packers, right? Dog. He's going to regress this year, and it's going to look ugly. it's going to look ugly because last year he was bailed out a lot by having great wide receivers. Because once teams started figuring out what they were doing with him and they was asking him to do some real throws, that was when the interceptions started coming, right? Good for you, Sam, that you got your money. Bad on the Seahawks for being stupid enough to move on from Geno. That being said, Mase, who do you got as your number 3 team in the NFC West this year?
Ah, man.
It looks like you still debating. You have your list, but it looks like you even debating your own list right now.
Bro, it's just so tough, bro, because you know what? I'm going to say it. I got San Francisco.
Okay. Now, let's talk on this because we're on the same page. Why do you feel that way? Because I feel the exact same way.
I believe that they have I don't know what they're doing on the offensive line, first off. We know at some point McCaffrey's gonna get injured. And
more than likely, yeah.
Random guys. I mean, you don't have Trent Williams to run behind, and you know what I'm saying, bro. You just gave Brock Purdy the Brinks truck. You just backed up the Brinks truck for Brock Purdy. Debo is no longer on the team, which you know what? I'm not a Debo guy. He was a dozen donuts away from being a running back, bro. Maybe a tight end. I don't know, bro. But Debo had to go off that team. Ayuk, he's obviously a top tier receiver. I don't know, man. I think that mystique of the Shanahan offense has like sailed. That ship is sailed. They're trying to retool that defensive line to be dominant again, but I think it's kind of too late for that. I think that ship is kind of sailed for them to just have that dominant front four. Yeah, man. Their team is going to be hard to beat, but I think a lot of teams are going to squeak out wins versus them.
Yeah. So for me, my biggest concern comes because I agree with you on some of the stuff with the Shanahan offense, right? The mystique is gone now. Teams know a lot of more teams know how to actually attack it, right? And to play defense against it. So you will have success. I think Purdy has proven to me that he's at least a Kirk Cousins level quarterback, right? That is 100% proven. He's a guy that you can win with, and you might potentially win some games because of, right? McCaffrey, like you said, potential of injuries is pretty great, but when he's on the field, we know what he is. Ayuk, he's proven he is a certified lead receiver for your team, right? Kittle still can ball. He's getting older though. They still got Trent Williams, right? But this is where things start getting sticky for me, is because when you start looking at the rest of that offense, I like some of what I saw out of Parasol last year, right, when he was on the field. But can he do that for a complete season? And when he doesn't have the defense pulling some of that coverage to Debo, even though Debo was not what he typically was statistically last year, right? Defenses still had to respect it. They still had to play him in a certain way in order for them to not get burned by Debo overall, right? Can Parasol now step up? Because, look, I'm going to tell you, I don't think Juwan Jennings is that dude. I don't care what y'all, how hyped y'all want to be about Juwan Jennings from last year and all this. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe it. I feel like it was a mirage, okay, if we're being real. So can they get more production there? Then we go to their offensive line. Outside of Trent Williams, I do not have confidence in any of their guys on their offensive line. I feel like they are all, at best, maybe a baseline starter for you, a guy that he ain't going to be the worst in the league, he ain't going to be the best, but man, could you most definitely do better than?
I think this is Trent Williams' cliff year, bro.
I think he might be one of those weird guys that just never has a cliff year and just retires. We never see it, right? Because he's been playing so long at this point that if we haven't seen him fall off the cliff, we're probably not going to see it. And if there is a cliff for him at this point, it's a health cliff more than it's his skills won't be there anymore.
Yeah,
because these
I think, like I said, I'm the same situation we got out of Terry and Armstead last season for Miami, where it was just like
yeah.
I just like my body just can't keep up with this no more, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, it could be.
And like I said, whether the cliff comes from health or skills, this just seems like the perfect opportunity for Trent Williams to say, I'm sliding out before things really get bad.
Yeah, I can understand that. Now, my bigger concerns, Mase, with this team, because we know Shanahan's going to scheme up some stuff on offense that will negate some of those issues that we just talked about, right? That will make certain guys look better than they actually are, as he's been doing for years. My big reservations with this team come in on the defensive end. Number one, let's start with that defensive line. Mikael Williams, he may end up being a solid player for you. He is not a pass rusher. By any stretch of the imagination, you can go back and watch, 3 years of film with him, Mase? He ain't a pass rusher, dog. He got one move, try and power you back with a bull rush. Other than that, he ain't got no counters. He ain't got no spin move. He ain't got nothing. It's straight ahead bull rush. Okay. And that ain't really going to work.
And his
in the
bull
NFL
rush isn't because he's overly stronger than everybody. It's because he's actually athletic. It's not like a bro. I bench 500-600 pounds, bro. I can treat offensive linemen like children. I can move them around. It's just because he's fast, bro. That's it. Because he's light in the pants, bro. He's like a 230-pound edge. Like he's a light guy, bro. He's not that big of a guy.
His bull rush, and I can't let you do that to him because he is a little bit bigger than that. They have him at 267.
260. I don't believe that man's 260, bro.
I don't.
I know what I saw.
I have questions on whether I think he's more so 240, 245. I don't think he's 260. I don't think he's that. I think that's,
like I said, bro.
Outrageous.
We knew Aaron Donald wasn't a big dude, and they had him listed at like 280. This man is on record saying that for the majority of his playing career, he played around 265.
Good God, that makes him even more outrageously good. That's absurd. But yeah, but to the point, not to get too distracted, just talking about Mikael Williams, right? Look, outside of Bosa on that line, they're going to be running out a unit of Mikael Williams, Kelvin Givens, Jordan Elliott, Yetter, Gross, Mateus, CJ West, Alfred Collins, and Sam Okanawu. I think that's how you say his name. Okawanayu. I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry. And Bryce Huff and maybe Robert Bill Jr. will be like the niggas that actually get snaps on that team, right? Dog, none of them are good players outside of like you give Bosa. We know he's elite. There's not any question about that. We know he's elite. 100%. Top 5 pass rusher in the league is Mr. Bosa, right? But the rest of these dudes is suspect, bro. So I
feel like Bryce Huff earned his money just being around other good dudes on the line. Because think about it, those last 2-3 years in Philly, bro. I mean, look at the rest of the rushers on Philly's defensive line and be like, of course you get one-on-ones versus the opposite tackle on the team, bro. Like, come on, man.
And for me, this goes back actually to the start of them losing this and becoming weaker. It all starts for me when they got rid of DeForest Buckner. Because since they got rid of D-Buck, they've been trying to find another one. And they haven't found another one yet. Right? And I think what they're finally starting to realize, because, I mean, over the past few years, they've been able to kind of plug and play with some veteran guys there, like Damian Pierce and stuff like that, to plug and play. We're still going to get a pretty good level of production from you, but we're only probably going to get a year. So since then, they've been chasing that. And, I mean, they have not found it yet. I mean, listen to this. We're going to talk just strictly D-line picks since they drafted Buckner, right? We got Solomon Thomas, DJ Jones, Julian Taylor, Kentavarius Street. I always want to call him Kentavarius, but it's Kentavarius Street. Excuse me. Nick Bosa, right? There's a hit. Kinlaw, miss. We got no D-line the next year. Then you've got Kalia Davis. And you had outside linebacker Drake Jackson because he was supposed to be a rush end for them, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't panned out. Robert Beal, another guy that was supposed to come in and be able to give him some pass rush. Nothing there. Then you look again, no D-line, and then this last draft, they finally actually invested in some D-line. Brother, unless all of a sudden Alfred Collins is turning into DeForest Buckner, that defense is going to suffer, and I think that is going to be their ultimate undoing of this season because they're not where they're traditionally going to be used to getting stops and staying in games because of their defense. They are not going to be able to do that this year. I just don't see it, man. Maybe, especially, man, Mase, we didn't even get to their secondary. Oh, my God, bro. Like, look, if Tafanga, I think that's how you say his name, right? If he comes back and he's healthy for them at some point.
Wait. He went somewhere else, bro. I think he's in Denver now. I think he's in Denver now.
That's right. He did go to Denver. That's right. Because when I was looking at their roster, I was like, oh, man, San Fran, y'all didn't bring him back. That's kind of wild because he was a playmaker for you guys. But okay. I don't know.
They didn't have the money to bring him back, bro. All that money went to Brock Purdy, bro.
So, because I mean, looking at their secondary right now, right? They've got I hate how some of these niggas' names are. Demorday Lenore.
Diamador.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Diamador Lenore. They got Jair Brown, Malik Mustafa, Renaro Green, and Upton Stout. None of who
sounds like barbecue chicken to me.
Bruh. And that's a bad division to have that in, right? Because I mean, even with the Seahawks, we just talked about them, right? They got JSN, they got Cooper Kupp. Those are guys that they may not be explosive play guys, but they will route you up real quick. And that's a bad combination to go up against when you got bad corners, because I don't think any of their corners are really good. I think the only one that I actually have a little bit of faith in, Mase, is Lenore. I think he has at least still maybe some upside to get better because he's not too old. You know what I mean? But even at that, I'm like, you should have been better than you are at this point, my boy. So I don't know. So that's San Francisco. Who do you got as your number 2 team, Mase? Now the intrigue really starts here.
The Arizona Cardinals, man. I almost flipped these two because I do think losing Clayton Adams as their offensive line coach is going to affect their ability to run the ball. Because if you look at that team, statistically, they had not only one of the best run games in the league over the last 2 seasons, they've also had one of the most diverse run games. And what I mean by that is that they not only were able to run their zones, their man dive concepts, but they also were one of the best counter and trap teams in the league. And whenever you can mix in your runs like that and be successful with multiple different looks in the run game, play action becomes that much more easier. And so I kind of feel like they may fall off on that one, but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to completely take off this year. I'm chalking him up for 1,500 yards, 8 to 11 touchdowns. I feel like he's about to take take off. This is it. He's about to. I'm here. Y'all boys can't guard me type season. I'm here for it.
So I don't disagree with you on the Cardinals here. I actually, over the course of the week, Mase, as I was thinking about it, I flip-flop back and forth between the Cardinals and the Rams. for me, the difference here, and before I talk about the Rams, because there is a clear difference, I think it is the defense and who they have as playmakers for me. I think both offenses are going to present a lot of problems for teams. I agree with you on Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they are going to – I think a lot of people are going to kind of be like, oh, is he really that good? And then he's going to go bananas this year. There's also some complexity with that offense that people didn't realize, that they ask a lot out of the wide receivers. It's a lot like when in Dallas, Mase, right, where you guys are asking a lot of the wide receivers to pick right, do their job right consistently, and be right way more than they are wrong, right? So year 2, him and Kyler being able to work a whole offseason together, with both of them being healthy now coming into this offseason, I think is a very, very big thing for that offense. They are most definitely, I'm calling it now, Mase, it will be a top 10 offense. I'm there with you. They're going to go crazy for sure. But my questions for them, like a lot of teams, then comes on that defensive side of the ball. And I think this is the difference between them and the Rams. The Rams have some guys that I will talk about that I believe that proved to us last year, even coming in on the first year, they are certified playmakers up front. I do not see it with the Cardinals. I know some people might say Josh Sweat, but I think he is another guy that was benefiting from all those bodies being in Philly, where they could just rotate 8 guys at you that can consistently be whooping your offensive lines behind, right? I think he's one of those guys that really benefited from that. I don't think he's actually as good as what his salary says. And then outside of him, right, you're talking about Walter Nolan the third. Not bad, but he's not someone to me that I think comes in and immediately makes an impact at a high level for them, right? I think he'll be average to good for them this year. He won't be great, because that's a very hard position to be great at, coming in and playing in a 4-3. You're going to have a lot of responsibility being up front as that other defensive tackle. They're going to ask you to do some things that you probably didn't have to do as much in college. So, like especially eating up some blocks on twists.
Yeah, as a bigger guy, I project him to be the one technique in that 4-3 scheme. So he's definitely going to be seeing if he plays well, he's definitely going to be seeing double teams. I mean, most blocking schemes, anyways, in the run game are designed to double that one technique and combo off of him onto the linebacker. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely going to be seeing blockers coming from angles that he's probably hasn't seen before.
So one thing I will say with what they have up front, I think their run defense will be solid. I think that is for sure, because like with Sweat, Nolan, and Tomlinson, those are all 3 people who I believe will be good run defenders for this team. I just don't know where they're getting their pass rush from. I have real questions about that. I think their secondary is actually going to be pretty doggone good this year. I know some people might think this is kind of a little bit of a reach, but I actually really liked what I saw on the film out of Starling Thomas last year. I thought I think he had finally a clicks in moment, right? And so I think he continues to get better for them. We all know about Budda Baker. I think Jalen Thompson is a talented guy, but I think truly Will Johnson comes in this year and establishes himself as a number 1 cornerback in the league this year for that team. And that's going to help them out with some of that deficiency in the pass rush.
Yeah, like I said, that the whole Will Johnson issue is like, sure, everybody wants to be concerned about the injuries, but at the same time, you can't deny his skill and instincts on the field as an outside corner. I said I had him. I mean, it was a toss up. It was pretty much a 1A, 1B type situation for me with him and Jahdae Barron. But yeah, him falling to the second round to Arizona, man, I feel like they, barring any catastrophic lower leg knee injury, reports, whatever the case may be, I really feel like they hit on a guy for the next 8 to 10 years as their number 1 corner.
Yeah. Without the injury, Will Johnson probably goes in the top 10 of this last.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And now the last team that we've got here in the NFC West, Mase, got we both pick as the champions here, the LA Rams. Why do you feel like this is the team that's going to end up winning the title this year?
I believe that defense for me is what sets them apart. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk were both over the moon hits for them in that front. I mean, having to replace, I mean, sure, you're never going to replace Aaron Donald with one player, but to get two dynamic young defensive linemen in the same draft, and for both of them to both have it click or both have it just like I said, like it just clicked for them. They're both playmakers in that front seven, and I think that's what sets them apart, man, because that defense is young, but that defense is also very physical and very confident.
Yep.
Which is what if young guys play confident, fast, and physical, that's really all you can ask for. And that's what they do. Obviously, I feel like it's going to be some growing pains on the offense just because they're going to have to establish a number 2 receiver. But I think that would be just fine.
Well, for me, I think that offense keeps rocking and rolling because I think Devontae and Matthew Stafford are going to get on the same page real quick.
You know, I completely forgot they brought that guy Devontae.
Yeah. So you got to think their top 3 wide receivers are going to be Puka, Devontae, and Tutu. And we saw Tutu started stepping up last year.
Just chalk them up for the division, bro. Why are we still talking about this, dog?
So just real quickly before we move on from them, because I agree with you. Everything you said is 100% right. My only question that I have for them is the same question I have with with some other teams. Secondary is a little bit young outside of Witherspoon. They don't really have necessarily a playmaker there, but I feel like the guys that you named up front, right, and Versk and Fisk are going to make everybody on the back end much better over the course of the season because I don't see either of them regressing. I only see them getting better because I thought they were both going to have good rookie seasons. Like we talked about this last year before the draft, right? We both thought they were going to have good seasons, but I don't think either of us saw them coming in and just being like, oh my God, y'all niggas is already ready. So I think that team's going to end up being very, very, very good on defense again this year. And that offense, I think, probably gets back to a top 10 level, having Devontae Adams be there, who will more than likely end up being more healthy than Cooper Kupp was for them last year. That being said, moving on to the home of those Dallas Cowboys and Mace's team. Mace, who will be the number 4 team in the NFC East this year? I swear to God, if you say anybody besides the team, we about to fight. We about to fight. I promise you.
Obviously, bro, it has to be the Giants, right?
Okay, good. I didn't want to have to fight with you about this.
But it's the Giants, but it feels like it's been forever since I've been a football fan. I can't even remember the last time somebody won that division twice in a row. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody was just like bad 2 years in a row outside of the Giants. Like,
I'm thinking on it. Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead. I'm thinking.
But yeah, man, it's the Giants, but I really feel like they got markedly better. Obviously, adding Abdul Carter to go alongside Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. You have a very tradable piece in Kayvon Thibodeau now. If they feel like they are missing something in that team, you have a very tradable asset now.
And just to answer your question before we move on too far, there has not been a back-to-back winner since the 2003 and 2004 Philadelphia Eagles. That was the teams with McNabb that lost to the Panthers in the championship, and then the team that got to the Super Bowl against the Patriots. But since then, every year there's been a different winner. There has not been a repeat winner since then.